Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. This is Natasha from Crafting Extreme Love, and I am super excited to be back with you all today with a collaboration video with Rachel from the Life Facilitator, one of my sweet dear crafty friends. And both her and I are super passionate about memory planning, and we have this mini series going on different ways that you can approach memory planning. So today's theme is currently, and I've got my currently list here, and I was actually doing a bit more pre-planning than I usually do. I am going to scrap lift myself. So basically, I was a little stuck on what I wanted to do this time. So scrap lifting is like basically taking an idea and then making it your own. But I'm actually going to scrap lift myself, which you can totally do. So I really liked this layout that I did. I liked the different coordinating colors for each day of the week. So because I want to do something more color-based, this was, for me, going to require a bit more planning. Otherwise, I would be doing this for like 3 hours trying to shuffle through everything. So I thought I would do some planning. So to give you a little insight into my thinking. So I recently was listening to a episode of the podcast Simple Scrapper, and the episode was all about stash busting. I want to say that's the right using your stash ultimately. And I have had these stickers for such a long time. I love them. I've been hoarding them, and I realized that I need to use stuff while I still love them or while I love them, if that makes sense. I thought that this would be a great foundation for my layout this week in collaboration with Rachel, because she is also a huge advocate of using your stash. So if you have something you love, take it off the shelf and use it. So that is what I am doing. So I started pulling stickers, and what I want to do is I want to have 7 different clusters. And so I've got 1 cluster here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now it's not going to be exactly all the same, like this pink, for example, is going to travel throughout, but still I'm going to go ahead and highlight this coral color down here in this cluster. This one's going to be this green. This one I'm probably going to pull like black and white for this combination, and then this one maybe the dedicated pink one. I'm not 100% figured that point out yet. So I did 7, and coincidentally I did come up with like 7 different categories before I had the idea that I wanted to do those columns. So I've got eating, drinking, buying, watching, loving, planning, and celebrating as the categories that I'm going to highlight in this currently snapshot. I have already selected my photos. I'm going to go ahead and pre-print them and cut them out so that we can sort them out. But I did want to show you a sneak peek into my process, because I'm also always curious how people come to the certain point of the content that they're sharing on YouTube, if that makes sense. I also, based off of these colors, went through my scraps, going back to using up my stash. I've got some new product that I'm really itching to use, but I need to use up some of this old stuff. So some of these papers are from this collection, others are not. They're just papers that I've had from my stash. So like I was saying, this one may be this match. So here, this blue pattern, to show you the different ones.
I'm probably not going to use all of these, but I was going through all the papers, and I was like, I do need to share this process. This was like an old planner divider that I'm going to use. Here we go. I think I'm not going to use fussy cutting. We'll see. I'm not a huge one for fussy cutting, but there's more sheet. I probably won't use that because that looks like I could use that in my mini happy planner. And then a black and white here.
So the other 2 things that I have pulled are these puffy hearts, and then these other just general puffy stickers both are from Citrus Twist Kits, as I thought that these colors, especially these ones, really go very well with the colors on this Maggie Holmes. I gotta figure out, I will find the name of this collection and link it below. It's one of my absolute favorites. I'm surprised I don't remember the name. Anyways, I am gonna go ahead and continue my process here. Oh, the other thing I did want to mention is that I'm starting to, with just a post-it note, I'm going to categorize. So like this cluster will be dedicated to drinking. And I've got a photo that coordinates with drinking. I've been drinking a ton of like pumpkin spice coffee here at home, and then also when I'm out, I love Dunkin' Donuts. They've got the new oat milk and it's just absolutely delicious. So I'm going to put this cluster on Sunday. Now, some of these may not fall on a specific day, and that doesn't really matter to me because I'm trying to just capture currently as an overall based on a week in September in 2020. Here are some close-up photos of the currently category clusters that I created. And like I mentioned in the intro to this video, I did take quite a bit more time, one, to think about how I wanted to get started on this layout, and I will be honest that it did take me longer than usual to put this layout together. I do fuss quite a bit over the placement of the photos and also where I wanted each coordinating color to sit on the page. I was considering kind of a rainbow look, and then I started looking at the different colors and really just went with what was most pleasing to my eye in the end. I did want to include this sorting and planning of how I wanted everything to sit on the page in this video. I wouldn't make you watch the whole thing because it did take me quite a while to get it exactly how I wanted. But I think it's really important to see the process of how certain things come together. I do really believe that you can fuss over it quite a bit, and then after a while you just have to commit. And most of the time I do commit fairly early because I do believe even if there is a layout or a spread that you are not super crazy about, it is better to have it documented and done than have it absolutely perfect. Well, I have to say that even though this one did take me a while to put together, I absolutely love how it turned out. I think just challenging myself to look in the lens of more of a currently is what kind of tripped me up, but I really enjoyed the creative challenge. After much deliberation and finally committing to the colors for Monday and Tuesday, I am on a roll here, getting the embellishments and all the little details down. And at this point, I'm really excited with where this layout is headed. So I really was committed to using items from my stash. Here, these two bits, the Post-its are actually from the Happy Planner. They really do not have too much of a stick anymore, so I am using some additional adhesive to make sure that those don't come off at a later date. For my adhesive lately, I have been using this Mac Daddy of an adhesive, the ATG gun. I want to say that is what it is called. It is massive. I am still learning how to use her. I feel a little awkward as I feel like it's pretty bulky, but I really wanted something that was two things. One, more eco-friendly. I do love the smaller tape runners, but I always feel pretty terrible after it's done that I'm throwing away the plastic.
and I go through those things pretty quickly when I am really into crafting, which I am. So the big thing was something that could be more reusable, and then the next thing was something that was budget friendly. So the initial investment for this adhesive gun was a little pricey in my opinion, but knowing that I can get cheap refills at a reasonable price makes me feel like this was a good purchase. I just kind of have to find my flow. So I'd be really interested to hear what is your go-to adhesive right now. I do also use some glue in a fine, mild, I want to say it's a mild tip bottle. You'll see probably me sneak it into the clip at some point here. So those little itty bitty embellishments, those stickers, as they are kind of older, similar to the Post-its, I am putting some additional adhesive. But in this case, I am using the glue as that gun is just far too big. Creating this layout and now watching the replay as I do the voiceover, it is cracking me up because I feel like this is a true representation of the basic girl that lives within inside of me that absolutely loves fall, and also Taylor Swift. But I'm always late to the Taylor Swift party. Like, she has a new album. I don't really listen to it when it first comes out. Everyone's like losing their mind about it. And then like months later, sometimes even years later, I'm discovering the songs from that latest album. And I'm like, oh my goodness, why didn't I listen to this right away? But I think it's this part of me that, just wants to rebel from like what's popular. But at the end of the day, I just want to drink my pumpkin spice flavored coffee, iced coffee, because I live in Southwest Florida and it's still over 90 degrees here regularly. Eat my little pumpkin spice cookies while listening to some T Swift. I don't know about you, but it sounds like an awesome September afternoon. After getting the first half of the week completed, everything glued down, I move on to the second half of the week. And I actually start all the way at Sunday. I did use a larger piece of paper on Sunday to go ahead and balance out Monday. That was a design choice that I made, as I felt it would really balance out both sides of the week, and also it just looked good to my eye. This is a pretty busy spread in my opinion, so having a bit of structure through the pattern papers was something that was important to me. I am a firm believer that there are no rules in paper crafting, so I really am excited to head on over to Rachel's channel to watch her video for our Memory Planning Monday series. based off of the same theme currently, because I'm so curious to see her take on this theme. I would love to see your take on this theme if you are inspired to give this type of layout a try. I know both Rachel and I would love to see your creations. Both her and I are over on Instagram and we are quite active over there. I have both Rachel and my Instagram accounts below. If you do decide to do a currently layout inspired by today's videos, please go ahead and tag us. We would love to see what you create. For my layout, I have 7 categories, like I mentioned. So I have listening, eating, celebrating, planning, watching, loving, and drinking. And when it comes to currently layouts, you can make it as loose or as structured as you would like. It is totally up to you. Now, I really wanted to be able to capture the fun fall things that I am loving right now, but I also, on the other hand, wanted to capture some tough stuff that's going on personally with some challenging health issues, and then also our little pooch Angie's recovery. She recently had an ACL surgery, and just having an older dog that's in recovery has been a little stressful. But I am the type of documenter who really chooses, and it's an active decision, I would say, to document the good and the bad and everything in between. I really believe that the tough times are what shapes us, and it becomes part of our story, in my opinion, if we like it or not. And I also think that looking back in my planner pages, seeing those tough days and then turning the page or looking at the following day and seeing, you know, something that was positive or that made me smile, that really reminds me that even when I'm in those tough moments, that it's not always going to be like that. And having that visual reminder, even when it comes to my hobby, is something that I just really cherish. As I'm moving along in this layout, one thing I do want to point out, something that I did purposely do, is instead of having the colors strictly be isolated in that day of the week column, I do have some elements that are spilling over into the other day. And I did this intentionally because I wanted there to be a seamless flow in that color, even though I was going for a monochromatic look per category. So if you're wanting to recreate this look, what I recommend doing is pulling a embellishment. So that could be a piece of washi tape, a sticker like I used here, or a die cut. And you want that die cut or this embellishment to have at least 2 of the colors that you're trying to pull together, so you can have that seamless flow of color. So as an example, to explain exactly what I'm doing here, so for Thursday I have that block of black pattern paper with the floral print. I have gone ahead and I've put a sticker right on top of that, and I had it go off the page on purpose. So that black leaf is going to transfer right on over to Wednesday. And then I've got the black leaves of the patterned paper that is on Wednesday that coordinates perfectly with that sticker. Now, when you're using the same collection, that makes this quite easy. If not, I definitely recommend having the main embellishments that you plan to use by your side, so that way when you are going through your pattern paper or your scraps, that you are having it all coordinate from the very beginning. At this point, I am very close to finishing up this layout. I really enjoyed using the butterflies and the birds way more than I thought that I would. I know butterflies are really having their moment in paper crafting right now, and I'm very happy for them, but they're really great accessory or an embellishment, excuse me, to add that sense of movement to the paper. And like I said, using those colors that coordinate together can really blend in all the different colors that you're trying to use without much effort at all, which I like as somebody who would consider themselves a lazy crafter. Here I am adding a few label stickers, which I am going to use for the header for each of my categories that I am capturing here in my currently layout. I end up doing a little switcheroo with two of these stickers, as I thought that this shade of pink matched a little bit better over here on Friday, and I do really like how this all came together, like so much. I am using a fine tipped Sharpie, as a few of the elements that I was writing on did have a glossy finish, so I felt like this was the best way to make sure that I did not smear anything. I am adding just a few little details for dimensional interest using some puffy stickers from Citrus Twist that coordinate beautifully with the colors from this Maggie Holmes collection. I really love how this one turned out, even though I had a bit of a bumpy start. I think that has made the final outcome just that much more glorious. I want to thank you for joining me today in this process video as part of our Memory Planning Monday series, especially if you're coming from Rachel's channel. Welcome. It is great to have you here. If you have not checked out Rachel's currently video yet, I'm gonna go ahead and put a link below to her video for this episode of Memory Planning Mondays, additionally with the materials that I have used in this layout. If you did like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to catch more content similar to this. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, and I hope you have some time soon to make something crafty just for you.